Glitter's Dreadlands Journey, Chapter 24. I took a short nap while the others were searching through the treasure. They found some magical weapons and armor. After they woke me up, we went to the city behind the treasure hoard. It was the Obsidian Mines, and it was abandoned, silent. While exploring it, we didn't find anything useful. We went to the town hall to check if there were any preserved records. There were, but everything was in Dwarvish and none of us could read that, so I had to use magic again. The last records were from about 40 to 50 days ago, according to Eurolian calendar, and there was a repeated theme of people getting mad and attacking others. The frequency of these attacks was increasing and it all seemed coordinated, cutting off the most important people of the city first. Also, many groups were coming from the Underdark, fleeing from the demons from the abyss or something. After reading through the records, Jack decided to check on the sewers. And he found some tracks there, so we followed them. In the sewers, the water was glowing green. We were walking through that for about an hour or so, and I was so tired that I almost fell to the water, but Matthias caught me. Then we finally found a group of dwarves hiding in a cave with makeshift tents. They were there for some time and were very malnourished. We bribed them with food, and they said they knew a guy named Minazak, a criminal who was supposed to know things about the Underdark. A dwarf named Nodum agreed to take us to the border of Minazak's territory. So we went to the sewers again, walking alongside the green glowing water. After Nodum left us, we walked to a closed gate where the dwarven guards were even more malnourished than the first group and were acting really weird. They talked in unison as if controlled by one creature. They took us to a sort of arena where another controlled dwarf talked to us. The entity behind the dwarves introduced himself as Azir. He said Jack was somehow special, but refused to tell us why, only told Jack to find him deeper in the Underdark. We wanted some more information from him, but the conversation was going nowhere. And then out of blue I felt my body and mind being pulled, and we all appeared in Stella's hut. She said she was scrying on us, but then we disappeared from her spell, so she thought we were in trouble. She told us she's a member of a group that's guarding this land. Not from anything specific though. Her allies are Balthazar, the bodyguard of Navarra, and Askaros, who lives in Mountain Wall in the north. This group is guided by a wall that contains names of people who are destined to change the world. And Jack's real name is Noriel Notsimael, and surprise surprise, that name is there. Also, Duradar's name is on the wall and Parlong's as well, although Stella didn't know anything about him, but she said she'd try to find out. When I wanted to show the glass bead to her, it was dull grey stone and I couldn't hear Parlong in my head anymore. Did it transform or did someone stole it from me and replaced it? We briefly talked about our fight with the mayor and the tentacle guy. Stella told us the tentacle guy was a mind flayer, creature detached from the elder brain. This one was Yesod Gabrion, leader of the House Gabrion, and that all the house leaders in Kabbalah are not humans or elves or other common races, but they became monsters like this tentacle guy. And the leader of Kabbalah is rumored to be an incarnation of Miracle. It was a lot to process that day, so we accepted Stella's hospitality and went to sleep. But in the morning, Hildy was still sleeping and we couldn't wake her up. Talas cast some spells to contact Hildy's mind and found out she is trapped in the glass bottle in Mama Lyra's hut. Yes, that's right, the hag from the mountains in Magical Tower. We almost panicked and Matthias was understandably distressed. Stella offered us help of her friend Askaros, but we had to do something for him in return. And we needed to be ready in 2 hours. We went back to the treasure hoard to take as much of it as possible. Stella went with us to see the chained dragon. Jack walked up to him and trapped the dragon in an iron flask that he got from Folriel. Stella was mildly upset by it and recommended us not to talk about it with Askaros. We took the treasure and went back to Stella's hut. Askaros, a silver dragonborn, appeared there and teleported us, including unconscious Hildy, to his village by Sanopath. The village used to be ruled by 5 metallic dragons, but they disappeared 3 months ago, so they revere the dragons as their guardians, and they even have 5 pillars with thrones on them and some inscriptions. I could only figure out it was some kind of protection magic, but not any details. In the meantime, Hildy was taken to a hut where they did a ritual on her to preserve her body while her soul was trapped. Because of the dragons missing, Askaros wanted us to go with them to a meeting with frost giants as a neutral party. But we were going to the hag first, and he went with us along with 2 huntresses, snow elves Nenya and Seras. I asked them if they knew Shaska and her yetis, but they didn't. Nenya only heard about a village of friendly yetis from travelers, but recently the news stopped. Did something happen? On the way, Matthias hunted a deer for us for dinner. I asked Askaros about the dragons. They protected the village for generations, but they didn't live there. The villagers used to summon them when there was a need, but when they tried that 3 months ago, they couldn't summon any single one. So the dragons may be missing for longer. In the evening of the second day, we reached the hag's hut. It was empty. No one was there. Jack dispelled the illusion around the house, and it looked way more abandoned than it should. In the floor, we found a stash of papers with fey myth about Calypso and how to summon it. So someone wants to summon an evil fey deity here. As if Nightbringer wasn't enough. Maybe we could maneuver Nightbringer and Calypso to kill each other? Talas spied on one of Mamalira's trolls. It seemed to be in a mine. So we went to the mines. There were dead yetis on the way, killed by claws and bladed weapons. Almost there we found corrals with dozens of undead yetis guided by a few trolls. We killed some of those trolls as quietly as we could and sneaked around the others. In the mine we killed the guarding troll. Then Talas noticed the hag was invisible behind us and Jack cast a spell to make her visible. We started fighting her, but suddenly she changed into another hag, Icy One, who seemed annoyed. We continued fighting her, but again she changed into a third one, this time a fire hag. And that one gave us a lot of trouble and then fled into the tunnel. We patched our wounds and followed her. When we got to their sanctuary, the fire hag was on a raised dais and the vial with Hildy's soul was on a pedestal in the middle of it. There was a magical barrier around it. I teleported inside and Matthias ran over a nearby column to attack the hag. Jack tried to cast a spell to float over the barrier, but Mamalira herself appeared and disrupted the spell. And then the ice hag appeared and Seras betrayed us and attacked Askaros. The fight was a mess. When we killed the hags, the barrier disappeared, but the vial with Hildy's soul was still fixed to the pedestal and we couldn't get it off. I sensed a fey entity under the dais and it was draining Hildy's soul and the entire place was desecrated. Askaros cancelled the magic binding the vial to the dais and the draining stopped. But the entity was still there. The entire cavern started shaking and Askaros teleported us back to the village, where a nice new trial will be held for Seras. And hopefully we'll be able to revive Hildy.